Thank you everyone for taking time to join us today. So, today we are celebrating Women's Day initiative. This is a Women's Day session. It's a part of our initiative where we wish to educate and empower women to make informed financial decisions. It's my privilege today to introduce Ms. Manju Mastakar, founder and managing director of Armstrong Capital. With nearly 30 years of experience in financial industry, Manju ma'am has paved her way to become one of the India's top women financial advisor and recently being honored by Nari Shakti Award by Money Control for managing the highest asset under management by a woman advisor. Today she will be sharing her experiences and expertise on smart investing and help us the barrier of the financial independence. So we know that you might be having a lot of questions and we'll try to answer them in the end of the session. So we'll select 5 to 6 best questions and Manju ma'am will try and answer them. And most of you, as you know, you're already our valued
Mhm.
clients and will be helping you assisting any further. For the ones who are new, at the end of the session, we'll share our contact details and credentials so that you can reach out to us. So let's get started and let's welcome the woman who is transforming the world of wealth management, Miss Manju Mastakar. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Uh, Nice to have a session like this. Many times I've been called um, for a session on financial planning, session on budgeting, and we've been doing webinars with the corporates. But this is a different initiative. This is basically focusing all on a woman, that how she goes through her life journey, and and at every uh, part of her journey, how she should take financial decisions, or what kind of questions come to her, and how she should face them. So before we get started on that, I will share my journey. I mean to say how I started. I started in the stock markets of Mumbai. This is where it's a very conventional field that I have chosen, which was advising on the stocks. So I started my journey way back in the year 2000 in the Dalal Street of Mumbai, and I had prior experience of interning with a CA firm where I managed accounts of stockbrokers. So I had the relevant experience to get in. Those days, which is way back in the year 2000. There was nothing called as a job profile. So in the morning, I would be at the reception picking up calls, then I would be in the dealing room executing trades, and then the account department writing checks, and then the operation department taking printout and putting it in the envelope, the contract note printout, and couriering it. So you can understand, I'm talking about an era where there were no mobile phones, because I said I was picking up calls in the reception. No online transactions, no net banking, no emails. So basically the dinosaur era. Slowly all these things started coming in. Later, I went to a fairly large broking firm for an interview. And while being interviewed, I was told that though you have all the relevant qualifications and you have a multitasking experience, we've never allowed girls to enter the dealing room. So you'll be the first one. Are you okay? I said, no problem, I'll be okay. So my first day at work, and I entered a very big dealing room. The ratio was about 70 men is to me, which was the only woman there. And I was very young. I was 21. Then as soon as I entered, and I was there to listen to the morning meeting. So morning meetings are meetings where the head of the department gives a brief about the market and all. People looked at me, and they thought maybe she's just come here, something. And then I heard some of them gossiping and whispering, लगता है सेठ की कोई रिश्तेदार लगती है. Otherwise, entering a dealing room was really difficult. Then my boss told me that the reporting senior told me that this is the board lines. As soon as you get a phone call, you pick it up and you execute the trade. You've got experience in execution, right? I said, yeah, no problem. So as the phone rang, I picked up and I said hello. But the person on the other side thought, "Ki yaar, wrong number lag gaya. So he said, sorry, wrong number lag gaya. I said, no, this is Motilal Oswal. Then he said, अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है डीलिंग रूम में ट्रांसफर करो. I said, मैं डीलिंग रूम में ही हूँ, आपको किसका भाव चाहिए? So he said, अच्छा किसी और को फोन दे दो. Then he just took some few names and I gave it to them. So those times it was unacceptable to have a woman in the dealing room, and that client did the transaction with someone else. My colleagues also started looking at me thinking कि यार इसके साथ तो लोग बात करने को रेडी नहीं है, क्या डीलिंग करेगी. The next 2 weeks, um, I kept picking every phone which rang, and I did transactions. And my colleagues soon realized that the way I was doing the transaction was the fastest. Then they started saying कि यार ये तो कीबोर्ड देखती ही नहीं है, तो सिर्फ स्क्रीन देखती है और धड़ाधड़ सौदा करती है. 2 3 months, 4 months, there was an acceptance that a woman can also do a man's job well, and I did what I wanted to. What I was very happy is that I had broken the glass ceiling and I had proved it to other people in the dealing room that a woman can also do a man's job well. If there is excellence doesn't discriminate between genders. Both genders can do each other's work exceptionally well. So it's been now 24, 25 years in the investment advisory industry. And through this presentation, I'm going to share various experiences that I have been through. And wherever I feel that a woman needs assistance in understanding things, assistance in, being aware about the pitfalls, is what I'm going to discuss in today's journey. So, this is a journey of a woman. So, as a child, going to school, then completing graduation, then working in a different city. Earlier, this was not allowed, where a girl moves into a different city and she starts working, at least during my time period. But now it's acceptable, it's allowed. Um, then she meets someone there. So dating is also considered now in today's world. It's considered okay, because you'll have to look out for something. Arranged marriages are have become not so very common. Then getting married, then managing joint finances. So all this is a part of life, and when I'm going to take you through this, I'm going to take you through understanding at each point of time in life what kind of financial decisions you need to make. So buying the car, having the first child, buying the first house, uh, family vacation, because every year you plan for a vacation, you want to spend time with your family, you want to spend time with your extended family. How do you plan for that? Then helping kids with their studies, taking their studies, managing office, managing home, and taking school, and taking their studies, exam time, stress, and all those things. Then kids grow up, then they fly away, they go to a different city for job or for education. Then comes a time when parents are old, or they are no more, and then you get some inheritance from them. How do we manage inheritance? And then is the legacy planning, that what are you going to leave behind for your grandchildren. So all this is called as financial planning, life planning. And this is what are the major decisions: asset allocation, purchase, retirement, estate planning, income, education. I'm going to talk about all. So basically, goals in life are these. Short-term goals would be buying a house, car, international vacation. Medium term would be kids' education, medical expenses to take care of, emergency fund, and to get debt free, to come out of the loans and liabilities. And then long term, which is a little long term, would be regular income for retirement, financial independence, legacy planning. So when I mean short term, medium term, long term, I mean short term means that something which you are always looking at when you start at the age of 30. And that's how the short term, medium term, long term can be defined. Someone would have already been in the 40s of their life, then the short term goals are taken care of, then we are talking about the long term goal. So that long term goal on this PPT would have been their short term goals. So we'll start from the very basic, of how to educate, and what you should do for your daughter, or what, or on this webinar, there may be some girls who are young, and this is what we want to educate you, that how do you save as a girl. So first is that open a separate bank account for the child. Then open a ppf account and start investing something. So when I'm talking about a girl, I'm talking about a girl as young as 4 years, 5 years. It's a must to open a bank account, because that helps in segregating the money for them. Then accumulating gold every year. You all know the prices of gold is soaring high, and over a period of time it becomes more expensive and expensive. So it becomes difficult to accumulate gold if you have not done it at a proper age. So every year, Diwali time, birthdays, or something like that, you have to keep accumulating gold, 2 grams, 5 grams, and all. Can be in the form of liquid, can be in the form of physical gold. uh, Now, managing finance as an unmarried girl. So this is what happens, is that when a girl is graduated and then she starts earning, uh, some of them have an education loan, because the higher education is expensive. Then that's one liability which they have. Then two-wheeler loan, because they have to commute. Two-wheeler loans are not that very long, but the education loan goes on long. And then high living expenses in another city. If they're in another city, then they cannot be in the pg for a very long period of time, because girls are a little more hygiene conscious, and then they move into another apartment, try to cook food on their own. And so the cost of living is very high when you are an unmarried girl. But these are the goals that you have to keep in mind, and you have to foster towards taking care of them, is settling the education loan liability in the next 5 years. Try and see how you can repay that as soon as possible. Building a fund for marriage is, in India, marriages are a kind of festive, so the bigger, fatter kind of marriages is a norm. And there are and marriages do drain the financials, both for the parents as well as for the person. So building a corpus fund for marriage. So today, between the time a girl graduates, post graduation to marriage, she gets about 5 to 6 years kind of time period, as compared to the early times, 1970, whoever was born, between the education and the marriage there was hardly any time. So girls are now getting time to build, and this is the most important, is to create a fund for maternity leave, which is sabbatical. Because just life just goes on very fast, very fast, and you realize soon that it's a time for you to take a break, and you just don't have money. In fact, you have liabilities. So you have to start your sips as soon as you start earning, and do not touch these two funds. The first fund, marriage, for all these loans and all those things, and the second fund is maternity or sabbatical kind of fund. I'll come to about those funds in detail. Big fat Indian wedding, it's always a big fat wedding. Avoid personal loans. If needed, opt for smaller amounts with a 24-month tenure. Uh, don't spend lavishly on exotic honeymoons. I've seen couples where after the marriage is also a drain. Then getting into a rental property, buying a lot of white goods is also a drain on the finances. And then a very lavish honeymoon, that is also a drain on the finances. So many times I've seen people getting into a debt right in the beginning, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs kind of personal loan. So avoid this as much as possible, because at that point, which is between the age 28 to 38, so many goals hit, immediate goals hit, which take a lot of liquidity. Talk to your partner about earning and joint finances. This is very important. What happens is that when both of them start, the salary difference is not very high between them. So the girl also earns, and the boy also earns only 20-30% more than her. So putting the finances on the boy is really very difficult, and then frustration comes up, and then fights happen. So talk about that. So investment is a later thing. First is budgeting. First is understanding that how much is my expenses, how much is my cost of living, and how much can I save, how much should I save. So women are generally best at budgeting. If you remember our grandmothers, they used to, have one small diary. They used to write all the kharcha, whatever they've done. Today, uh, things have evolved. We don't have to sit and write the kharcha, but there has been a lot of apps which we get where you can upload your credit card expenses and just upload your bank statement, and it will tell you that where all you've spent. So spending are basically in three categories: fixed category, rent, fees, utility bills, groceries, debt repayments, EMIs, and other living expenses. So your fixed cost is close to about 50 to 70% of your spending. Then estimate cost for future. As I told you that you need to save for sabbatical, you need to save for a child, you need to save for certain short term goals. So do the calculation that how much you need to save for your contingency planning and all these things. Even 20% of your net takeaway home of both of you put together, if it is saved during the age of 30, you are really financially strong. Then is the fun, the remaining, which is the vacations, dining out, and the entertainment. So in this, the fun part, very rarely the fun part can be below 10% or 15%, because at that point of time, um, the lifestyle is such that the fun component takes a lot of part. But you have to, parents also have to educate their kids. They have to talk about budgeting. They have to guide them that the future part is very important. Try and first keep that money aside, and then juggle between the fixed and the fun. Then your life is set. How to start budgeting? Review your last 6 months spending, understand what you've done. You don't have to actually sit and do. A lot of apps help you to do this. Categorize the expenses. That also apps will do, saying that this was used for clothing, this is used for grocery, this is for this, that. Then contingency planning, because always some or the other kind of emergency will come. So ensure that you maintain a float in your bank account. 50,000, 80,000 at least should be a float in that age to be maintained in the bank account. Later age, which means that couples with two kids or couple with one kid, somewhere in the age of 30, 35, having EMIs, they should maintain a float of about 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs in their bank account. Determine what is your average monthly spending, and then you will understand that whether your expenses are aligned to your income. They have to be aligned. Unless you don't do this budgeting exercise, always people have come and told me that we have no money for investing, everything is spent. So you have to work backwards. You have to understand what is your income and then how you can cut down on your expenses. You have to use separate bank accounts. I'm going to have a complete session on this, that how do you manage joint finances, because I've got many couples who come to me and say, इसके नाम से सिप करे, उसके नाम से सिप करे, how to do it, how to manage this. So one is that have a common bank account. First you identify what are your expenses, and both husband and wife should have a common bank account where both of them will transfer amounts on a per month basis, that this is what I'll transfer, this is what you'll transfer. What should be the ratio? Ideally 60-40. 60% is what the husband contributes, 40% is what the wife contributes, because I'm talking about initial years of your life where the salary difference between husband and wife is not much. If it is much, where the wife is earning higher than the husband, still 50-50 is okay, because then you need to control your expenses also, and ensure that the egos are not hurt, and have a 50-50 kind of contribution in your bank account. All the expenses, every expenses which is common for the house needs to happen from that bank account. So Google Pay and all for groceries need to be on that. Then your savings and investments. This is where you've determined your SIP. This and the salary bank account has to be the common one. So salary hits the bank account, you keep the money in that bank account, whatever is going to be necessary for investments, you keep that much money in the bank account. And then comes the third one, which is your discretionary spends. So if both the husband and wife have done their job in the first and the second thing, they're spending money they've kept aside, they're investing money they've kept aside, then the third one, which is their own discretionary spend, there should be no questions asked. The boy will go in the pub, spend money. The girl will, the lady will go in the mall and buy some dress or some accessories or something like that. I think if the first two things are taken care of, then the third question should not be asked that why did you buy this, why did you buy that. That increases the fight. So first get your joint finances in place, and then automatically the fights about money come down. So this is how the model budget is. 6 to 8 lakhs, which is this kind of earnings are the earnings before marriage, or the single earnings. This is how the model budget should be. Dining out should be only 10%, saving should be 10% at least. 12 to 15 lakhs, somewhere mid, kind of 30 years kind of age, 28, 30 kind of age. This is what the incomes would be. And then comes joint finances, 25 to 30 lakhs of income both put together. This is how it should be. Rent and EMI should be lower, because earlier both of them were paying separate rentals. Now it's come down. Loans can be only 20% of the portfolio. So this helps the saving go up, because as I told you, the component of saving here has to be the highest. Raising a child, sabbatical leaves and all, you need to create a corpus for that. First child, very very major decision in life. So generally, as a planner, we would say that you need to have a child in 2 years, after 2 years of marriage, but not too late. 4 years, 5 years is really late. Why it's late is because because when we do our calculations saying that at the age of 50, 55 is where you would slow down in life. And when you would slow down in life, at that point of time, if your child has not even reached to a graduation level, then you have further bigger expenses post graduation, then marriage and all hitting you when you are 68 and 70, and that eats into your retirement corpuses. So a child in the age of 32, 33 is a good, or actually it's late as compared to our uh, generation earlier. But today, by the time the kids complete their graduation, 23, 24, then they get into a job, 3 4 years of earning, then they get married at the age 30, 2 more years of understanding each other, you reach to the age of 33. Fine, no problem. At least at the age of 33 for the woman, it's little late to carry a child, but nevertheless at least 2 years, so that unexpected, not knowing each other and all those kind of things come down. Establish a fund. What we've been telling, just from the time you start earning, both the husband and the wife should establish a fund, because the first 18 months are real drain on the uh, in on the income or on the expenses. I mean to say, the diaper cost every 2 4 months, the child grows a new set of clothes and toys and prams and high chairs and this and that and that, and salary cannot take care of this, because you've already had a tight budget. So at that point of time, your savings are going to come to rescue. So you have to ensure that, before planning a baby, this kind of savings should be there, which should be able to take care of 18 months to 24 months. Additional savings to for a new mother. Now, sabbatical or maternity leave is inevitable. Whether it was Madhuri Dixit or Aishwarya Rai or anyone, every woman had to take a break. If I talk about my example, I was in the sales and marketing department, and I was always in a client facing job. And when I had decided to plan, and I was pregnant, I I knew, I couldn't do this field job, getting in an auto rickshaw and walking in the sun and all those things. I couldn't do. I had to take care of myself. I had to take care of my baby inside my tummy. So I took a break. Right from the time I was pregnant, I took a break. And because I had savings earlier, I could, survive, or I could still live without asking anyone for money. So that's a very important decision. And the most important decision is to get back, when is the best time to get back. So if you're in a desk job, if you're in a work from home kind of job, or those kind of facilities are there, maybe 24 months would be a time where you can still come back. But that doesn't mean that you would be able to give a lot of time to work. So 4 hours, 5 hours in a day is a maximum. Even I couldn't do more. So when I had a baby and I had to get back to work, I also started slow. I started working from home. My old clients, has to advise them on the markets. I had to keep track. Then as my baby was about 9 months old, when they start crawling everywhere, is where I moved into a business center. I worked for 4 hours, 5 hours out of a business center. uh, but but generally, if a woman wants to get back to a full-fledged career where the boss is asking for 8 hours, 9 hours of dedicated commitment, it's not going to happen. When can that happen? That can happen when your child is 6 years old, and the child also can go to school. A child is going to school, and you have some time where your mother's duty is, you're off from that kind of duty. And I think, or I would always tell other people also who come here, saying that um, it is really very difficult for any woman who's been through this entire journey to recoup whatever she's lost, her body has been through. If she has expanded hours, taking care of the baby, nursing the baby, then doing office work, then doing household work, and all those kind of things, nahi hone wala hai. So save early, keep your funds there. Industry is not going to call you irrelevant in 3 and 4 years time. You will recoup all these things and you come back. Most important is that you shouldn't have a home loan liability. If you have a home loan liability, is where you will be forced to come back. So before that, before a child, before coming back to the industry, try and see that you don't have a liability. So when is it appropriate to buy a house? Sources of income are stable. This is typically where, um, many times I've seen that people join one industry because they get this kind of offer when they were in college, and in some time they feel yeah, this is not the industry I want to make my career. So they move on to another industry, and then again set up things. So your sources of income needs to be stable, means that this is the industry I'm going to make my career. Your debts are under control. Education loan, car loan, this loan, that loan, and then again a home loan. No, that's not right. At least come out of some loans, ensure that your liabilities are less, and then make this kind of decision. Adequate funds for down payment. When you have adequate funds for down payment, which means that you will have um, you will have at least 20-30% of the income to make those kind of down payments, and a good corpus to make some a good corpus to make a down payment, and a sufficient corpus to facilitate the EMIs. You should have established sound investment practices. This is very important. I have seen people have never done SIPs in their life, and they go and take a very big EMI, and then they say that how to pay the EMI, because they have never been in the discipline of investing. They've never been in the discipline of investing. They've always been in a discipline of they've always been in a place where whatever hits their bank account, they finish up everything. So in that case, they never have this discipline, and they can never service EMIs. uh, a steady lifestyle. A child is born, yes, once a child is born, then you need space, toys, their you know their own space, their own playing areas, and all those things. At that point of time is a time where I would recommend families which have been till now staying with their parents and in-laws, and all those kind of ones, that would be a good time for them to move out, because now they need space. And up till the time the child is about 18 months, 20 months, they require some kind of parental support at home. So till that time, some kind of brushing up also happens. Some thoda idhar udhar jhagda ho jata hai, but try to hold on, try to stay there. And after that, when once your child is a um, little big, and your finances are stable, is where you should take a decision to move out of the house. What should be your maximum EMI? Home loan EMI should not exceed more than 30% of the monthly income if it's a single income. Very difficult. This is the actual ballpark figure, but it is very difficult for anyone to do this, because what happens is that uh, what happens in this case is that the home loan rate, or the rates of real estates are so high, 1 crore, 1.5 crore, that 30% of the income, if it goes in EMI, a person would have not been able to save that much to make it 70% down payment. So you have to wait. You have to wait till your spouse gets back to work, and double income, 50% of that double income getting into EMI is possible, because you have a school going child, school ka fees, birthday parties, vacations, unexpected spends, and all are very high. In that, a very stretched EMI is difficult. I've seen couples who've taken home loans of 1 crore, 1.25 crore, stretched everything, and then they realize that this 125 of EMI is difficult, because नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब ये हो ही नहीं रहा है. And they've again, come back to the rental one, saying, in the rentals at least I'm paying 25, 30, and I can, live with it. So do your financials, do your budgeting right. You will need to get these things correct before you uh, move on. How much should your vacation budget be? 10 to 15% of your fund budget is the annual compensation, or the variable pay. People overspend on this. Overspending on vacation between the age where your home loans have just started is a very bad idea. So be cognizant of this. What you should do is that you should try and look for your friends and relatives staying abroad, or staying in a different city, and they've been always calling you for coming and visiting their house and all. Try and do those kind of vacations when your kids are younger, when kids are so you have a house also to stay, so your living expenses of the hotel is not there, eating out expenses in a vacation is not there, so you'll have something which is only the ticket kind of cost and some sightseeing kind of cost. To try and look out for those kind of, also feel that you've been somewhere and it's budget friendly also. The other way around, take small budgets breaks, like from here going to Bandipur, from here going to Wayanad, some kind of those ones where it's not so very difficult. But if you have these kind of breaks in 2 3 months, then you really don't long for a longer vacations. Real estate investment, very important decision. What happens here is that I have seen many times that people have told me that I have one house here, I have one house there, I bought this real estate here, then I bought that land there. First of all, in the age 30, you buy what you're going to stay in. Do not get into any real estate investments for investment kind of thing. No, you first focus on what you want to stay in. Okay. Capped EMI should be capped to the extent of 50%. Someone buying a house in this city, that city, staying in some third city, you please sell the house in that city and invest the money into the city that you're going to stay. Then the next answer is that I don't know how many years I'll stay. So first be clear what you're going to do, how many years you're going to stay. Do not have everything this way, paying EMI somewhere, paying rental somewhere, and then having no money for investments. So meet a financial advisor, listen to the financial advisor. If that home is of no use to you, come out of that and get into something which is going to be useful to you. First house, 30 35 years of age, you should be able to take the decision, 35 or 36 37, somewhere there. Second house, in the age 45 48, which is a bigger house, because now you've done well, your kids have grown, two kids are there, they need their own space, they need their own room, you need a bigger house. So use your savings, and then the total EMI which you're going to use should be only 20% of your net income, because now in another 5 to 6 years you have to plan for your kids post graduations, as well as you have to plan for your own retirement. So this big house is when your kids are in their teens, is where you need that. You do your planning that way. You need to move out from a small 2 bhk to a 3 bhk, and that is the need which comes. Sell your old house. Many times people tell us नहीं वो नहीं बेचने का है ये, I want to buy this, and then they get into bigger EMIs, and वो उसमें से rental आ रहा है, this आ रहा है, that आ रहा है. But it doesn't help, because today the real estate prices are so high that unless you have been on a very high income levels, servicing debts of two houses are quite difficult. Never get into a real estate at the age of 50, 55 buying a big villa. I've seen clients buying big villas saying मैंने ये निकाल दिया वो निकाल दिया बड़े villa में I want to go and stay. And they come in that stage of life when both the kids are not there, or the kids are not there, they've already flown away to different country for education purpose, and then the husband and wife are taking care of the big white elephant. So the third major real estate is after the age of 60, 68, where your kids have settled, and it's your responsibility to take care of their kids, which means take care of your grandkids, because they need a helping hand. And you also need some goal in life, right? Whole day sitting at home doing nothing, you also need to contribute in their life to make a meaningful sense. So the third real estate comes in as a far away real estate in some distant city, where you get into some kind of real estate or some kind of agreement with them, uh, where you're earlier in Bangalore, but your daughter is in Gurgaon or Pune, and then you move there, and then you buy a small real estate there. You sell your existing one so that you're very close to your daughter. That is the right investment planning. You are being having some kind of goal in life, and you've also been of great value to the family. That's what you should do at that point of time. Then save for your child. This is also very important investment. What happens is that child is born, paisa nahi hai. वो initially used the money for the sabbatical, for this, for that. Raising a child cost anywhere between 50 lakhs to 80 lakhs, right from the birth till the marriage. So begin early, establish a minor bank account so that you start saving for the child. And I've always seen that whenever you've saved for the child and you have a different bank account, what happens is that you do not tend to use the money for any other goal. Like, you had an emergency, you want to buy a bigger house. It becomes very clear that this money is my child's money and I will not touch. And once you open a minor bank account, the thing is that as soon as they become adults, the money goes to them, and they can use it, or you can use it to show in a foreign university, or for their visas and all those things, that these kids are having money in their own name, and they're capable of paying their own expenses, taking care of their own expenses. Calculate the education expenses and ensure that you have a 10,000 to 15,000 kind of SIP going on early. Open a PPF account also. I've seen many times where people have come and told me that my father wants to do some investment for my daughter, my in-laws want to do some investment. So open a PPF account. Tell your parents, grandparents of the child to do an investment in their name directly into that account. 75,000, 50,000, whatever they're comfortable investing. Whatever gifts the child gets on birthdays, on Diwalis, and all those things can be used for investing into that account. um, Provide a monthly allowance to your child. Encourage them to manage their own spends. So I've always seen that nowadays kids have become very erratic. So talk to them when to talk to them. So when your child is 12, 13, is when they enter their teenagers, you have to sit down and tell them that I'm saving for your future. Whatever you require for your future, for your education, I'm saving money. So I want you to help me to ensure that there is enough of saving for you, and involve them in the decision making. Tell them that this is the monthly I tell them that you also get a monthly salary from your boss, and this is how you have to manage your finances. Similarly, you're also going to give them a pocket money every month, that this is what I'm going to give you, and this is what is the max you can use on your toys, on your online games, on this and that, and you have to manage your own, and this is your piggy bank. So uh, that's how they learn. Motivate them by giving them rewards for achievements. If they get good grades, and they participate in extracurricular activities like football and this and that, reward them saying that, oh wow, you've got you've got good marks, you've come first, you know, you won the game, you know, and reward them 500, 600, whatever you think you can. um, in fact, one incident which I would want to narrate here is that, I also told my son that, if you get good marks, you know, in this test, the class test and all those things, if I see that you've got 80, 85% at least, I will give you 500 rupees if you get this kind of marks in your test. And so, once you get this 500, you know, you can save it, and then and when you're older, you know, when you're 20, 21, you would be able to buy a Ferrari. So he said, Ferrari. I said, yeah, yeah, you'll be able to buy a Ferrari. Then he said, Mama, do you know the cost of a Ferrari? Even if you give me 500 rupees every day for the next 15 years, I will still not be able to buy a Ferrari. So the next generation is that smart. So they know the cost, and they can also do the multiple, and they also know. But you have to inculcate the habit of making them take the ownership, that you should know what your earnings are, and you should compulsory be able to save. Otherwise, the next generation, the Gen Z's generation, Gen Alpha, very difficult, because there is no hunger. Parents have always fed them well. Now is the most important question: can homemakers create a portfolio? So I've always seen that a homemaker is taken for granted, completely taken for granted. So people think that, generally men in the house think that she's there, she's cooking bhi karegi, ye bhi karegi, you know, mama hai, sab karegi. And their services are never valued. There's never a price paid for their service. And and their time is also never valued. It's always considered free. I'll share some one such incident. Um, I was also collecting funds for an NFO, and generally Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings is what I am there in the kitchen. I still do some kind of cooking, and Saturday evenings, Sunday evenings are generally light, where you know we prefer ordering outside. So my in-laws were there with me, and my on a Saturday evening when I was working for an NFO collecting some funds, my father-in-law insisted that, you know, rather than ordering from outside, let her make some sandwich, some simple sandwich. And then I made sandwiches for the family, and my father-in-law said, "Wow, very nice sandwich." And you know, if this sandwich we would have to order, then for all of us it would have costed close to about 1,200, 1,500 easily. I said, Papa, this sandwich is costing 8,000 rupees. He said, how? I said that 1 hour which I spent making this sandwich, if I would have done some 4 or 5 phone calls, I would have got funds. I would have made brokerage out of that, and the brokerage would have been close to 7, 8,000 rupees. So there's an opportunity cost of money. There's a value of money. I think all the women need to make the men in their life understand that it's not free. If the woman is not working, if she goes on a vacation, she just goes back, then there is a cost. There's a cost for the maid, there's a cost for a cook, there's a cost for cleaning, there's a time value. So unless a woman doesn't put her foot down and says that I need some financial independence, I need some money to hit my bank account on a monthly basis so I can decide, this financial independence will never come. So this is what I'm trying to tell every woman wherever where I meet, saying that don't take it for granted that all the money which the husband earns is his money. You're also contributing to the family. Your the work which you're doing also has value. So there has to be some amount of money which gets transferred to your bank account on a monthly basis, where you can do SIPs into that. And the best thing to tell your spouses is to say that, if you open another bank, another investment, there will be tax advantage and there is really tax advantage to the extent of 1 lakh kind of capital gains. Over a period of time, maybe the capital gain the capital gain exemption limit goes up and you'll have some more money. Begin SIP in gold fund. This is one more case which I would like to say that we had a couple coming in, and the wife wanted to do a recurring deposit scheme with the jeweler like Bima Jewelers and all. They have this gold schemes that you invest this much per month, and once in a year, you can redeem that and buy these many grams of gold. So she was doing that. She wanted to do that and the husband said, no, 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 SIPs can give better returns, because my financial advisor Armstrong said that. And we did investments in equity. And after that, the woman called and said that, okay, you've done the investment in mutual funds, but my husband will never give me that money to buy gold. It'll still keep on being there as an investment. So we realized our mistake. We realized that a woman also has her needs, and she needs some money which she can spend independently without questions being asked, especially the homemakers. So we corrected our mistake. We told our client, the husband, that if ma'am wants, and if ma'am has a goal of buying something of gold, we'll do that. We'll do an gold ETF kind of SIP. So she accumulates that SIP for 2 years, 3 years. She can also have another SIP of small cap funds, and all put together. We have to give her the independence to decide that how much she wants to spend on which goal of her life. This is also very important, that homemakers take some financial decisions on her own, or women take financial decisions on her own, and keep track of the portfolio. Here I would like to uh, talk about another story. Once we got a call on the landline number. Was a gentleman who first inquired that, is this XYZ person investing through you? And we gave the information, yes, yes, she's investing. Then he said, send me her portfolio. So we found it quite something fishy. We called up the lady who was investing. She was a young girl, aged less than 30 years old. she we spoke to her, why is someone else inquiring? So she said, or she had actually reached out to us through Google, so we didn't have anyone referring. So she told that, my husband and my father-in-law, they both run a business and I do a job, and I earn some money, and my in-laws want me to invest the money on their guidance or invest the money into business. And I don't want to be in there. Of course, we are talking about financial independence, so of course she doesn't want to, she shouldn't be giving that money. And then I spoke to the father-in-law, and I said that, sir, whenever you go to a bank and you are inquire for some other bank account, do they give you the bank statement? Do they give you any other information related to the bank? Then we will also not give you any information related to your daughter-in-law's investment. And we are qualified investment advisors. I personally have these many years of experience in advising investments, and the other team also has investment experience. So whatever your daughter-in-law is investing is not, don't consider her to be a juvenile saying that she doesn't know what where she has to invest the money, so I will take care of that. There are other people, there are qualified people to take care of her investments. So encourage other women to look for guided advice, and there will be many who will help. But reach out to others. If it is always that women in the house are going to reach out to the men asking them to take care of their finances, then she'll never be financially independent. So that's where I'm asking everyone to get into this actively, understand the investment philosophy, investment decisions. Now the most difficult part. Okay, but I'm going to talk because this is a women's only seminar, and many times, women really don't talk about these things openly, which is divorce, alimony, settling down, settling all these things. And the earlier I was trying to set the stage saying that woman needs to have some kind of corpus of her own, otherwise it becomes difficult later on. So when we come to this nowadays, as a financial advisor, I get a lot of gray divorce cases. So gray divorces are divorces which do not happen, or are they are the cases which happen when the kids are 10 years, 12 years, and the lady is somewhere in the age 45, 48, 50. They happen because all these years you've been postponing the decision of moving out, कि नहीं responsibility है, बच्चे छोटे हैं, ये है वो है, but then finally comes a time where it is difficult to stay with that person. Now this requires a lot of planning. uh, how What kind of planning? One is that the kids have also spent enough time with the father, and father also has to take responsibility. So you cannot ask for a lump sum settlement and finish it off, because the cost of education is very high. So you cannot cut all threads. That's what I'm trying to say. So you have to, whichever woman is in that phase should ask for a, a education cost to be borne by the father, because that cost keeps rising. Generally in these kind of cases, we do not see disrespect because the woman has been at least loyal, but at the same time the husband feels that what if she moves on in life, she uses that money for something else. So insurances are best, because in insurance what happens is that the investment is locked in, it's in the name of the child, and as the child becomes 18 years of age is where the money goes to the child for the education. So negotiate for that kind of investment rather than the uh, any other kind of lump sum money kind of investment. um, Grandparents, ask them for, openly ask them that, we've been through this. It's going to be very strenuous for the woman to now take care of the home and all these things. So whatever inheritance was going to go to the man or to the wife, talk to your parents, I mean to the grandparents of the kids, and tell them that, um, try and at least have the fixed deposit nomination as the child, because that's going to take care of their education cost, rather than, these gray divorces cannot be fought. They have to be settled. They have to be settled on the table. They have to be settled with discussions that this is what needs to be there and this is what needs to be here, and this is how we're going to manage the finances. Continue with your SIPs as far as possible. Whatever discussions you can, the woman can do on the table with the lawyer, with the financial advisor. I've been through many cases with these women where I've been sitting across the table, negotiating with the husband, negotiating with that person's lawyer, saying that, this is a necessity. This is where we will need more funds, and this is where these are the cases, or these are the requirements of education loan, settling, and all those possibilities. Um, Very sad, but when these kind of things happen, there is really no settlement for the woman. The woman has to get back to work, and whatever money in terms of lump sum and this and the house and all what, none of them, and many cases that I have seen, none of that money is good for any woman to sit idle for a very long period of time. She has to get back to work. The only advice I could give at this tenure is that, because that woman has been away from work for a very long period of time, and I'm talking of only those women who've been a little dependent, not about the ones who are independent, because the ones, or the ones who are independent also find little strenuous, but they have to start getting back to work. And at that point of time, don't do a business, because a business has more requirement of capital. There are pitfalls in business. business will require more time there. Do up some kind of smaller jobs, even if they're part-time jobs, teacher jobs, tuitions, this thing, that thing. Start somewhere. Some these kind of jobs initially pay you less, but over a period of time, as people keep referring to you, your practice will pick up. But businesses of selling this, selling that, I've seen that those kind of women get into further trouble because they've used that capital also in the business, and then it's very tough. Obtain your own medical insurance. Ensure that your family, at least your maternal side kind of family members, are aware about that, because in case of any medical emergency they will have to get those required approvals. Widowhood, I'm going to talk about these also because we practically we face a lot of these kind of cases which come. Initial stages, which is early stage widowhood, which is typically if it's in the age of 45, 50. um, this is what you need to do. Collecting all the documents, PF, PPF, gratuity, direct equity, everything. We have to transfer the ownership. So in this, what happens is that financial advisors can help, even the corporates can help. Review all the insurance policies. Many times the woman is unaware about what insurance policies they have. The corporates may have certain insurance policies, but you should have some insurance policy of your own, because that is challenged in the court of law. So hire someone to take care of all this. This give them some negotiate some kind of money to be given, because as a woman who's completely broken down, it's not possible to get so many things done. So hire someone, you as a consultant, who do this. Check the deceased email for all the information. Check their emails. In emails you will get information, because in today's world everything is paperless, so it's very difficult to figure out what kind of investments are done. So we generally try reset passwords, and we also in Armstrong we try and tell the woman to look into those email messages for something, or check the SMSs, where you'll get some kind of message from some institution, and then we run a query. So we run a query to figure out that on this PAN and on this email address what is the kind of investments, and we help. um, we have to develop a strategy which is 60% is for immediate annuity, 40% is for deferred annuity. Immediate annuity means that from tomorrow you need expenses to take care of your monthly needs, and 40% to take care of your further financial commitments, kids education, marriage, this, that. First of all, get out of all your liabilities. If you think that your house is just too big and you have too much of liability, you will have to settle down for a smaller house, and the bread earner is no more, so it's going to have a financial impact on the family. You should now sit and do your budgeting and estimate that what is the kind of money required for groceries, what is the money required for this. There are a lot of financial advisors who would be there at a fee basis to help you to do all these things, but it's very necessary. Deferred annuity, whatever we are talking, is something which is the bigger corpus, which will be used for marriage, commitment, other kind of commitments, and it will be used for retirement. So there's a lot of planning which requires here. Most important is, when you are talking to a financial advisor, or you need to consult a member in your family whom you trust to refer you to a financial advisor. I have seen in these cases people in the family tell ki I'll take care of this, I'll take care of that, ye karna wo karna. Don't listen to them. Ask them, you get me to someone who will help me understand these things, and a complete third party who's unbiased. This is the best. I have seen cases where something like this happens, and then there's a huge insurance money which comes in, and everyone tries to put in their head together and say ye karo wo karo aisa karo. Go with a proper advice, and please keep control of your investments. All the women on this webinar also, wherever they have other friends who've been through this, please do uh, take them through this. Widowhood later years, uh, this is not something which is really shocking. This is something which you that people are prepared for. And this is what I've seen typically when I come across those kind of cases. One is that the money is more, the need is less. So the husband with so many years has kept good amount of money in fixed deposits and all, and her needs are not much. She still either stays with her son for 6 8 months, or she moves later into her own resident, but the 40 50,000 is good enough for her for survival. Balance between the fixed deposits and low volatility mutual funds which give you a payout. Now why? Because you need a incremental payout. Why we are suggesting mutual funds? Because everything in fixed deposit doesn't make sense, doesn't beat up with inflation. Most important is that you should be able to give that kind of corpus to the next generation. So if you're going to keep everything in fixed deposit and you also don't need the money, then the next generation will never get a bigger corpus. So estimate how much is required for the annuity, and then invest the corpus into the next generation, which means that if this is what you're going to give your grandchildren, and you're going to sponsor their education, so then today you put it into even a mid cap, small cap, flexi cap fund, it will give a good CAGR. You're any which way is not going to use the money, right? So might as well today earmark the money for your grandchildren, so 15 years later the corpus grows, and then that's going to be useful for them. Have a will in place. Generally, the husband has, but over a period of time, if that's not there, or there is a change required, change the nominations accordingly, so that the next generation also doesn't, the next ones also do not have too much of problem in succession, then NOCs and this and that. So keep your nominations in tact. Start the process of distributing gold. This is what I've seen: women, gold with me, with me, with me till life. No, don't do that. After 75, after 80, the gold what the woman wears is further lower. When you are there, when you're alive, give it to your daughter and your daughter-in-law, so that there is no family fights after that. Even the heritage properties, I have seen that people are keeping their properties and saying that after me you decide what to do. And not only that, generally they say that all the fixed deposits or all the money will go to the daughter and all the property will go to the son. Then what happens is that the son will keep paying the maintenance out of his pocket, and the daughter will not know what to do with so much of gold and fixed deposits and all those things. So disseminate the assets properly. If it's a heritage property which you feel that you don't need it now, move into a smaller house. And it's no, there's no problem in moving, except acceptance that the senior living as a community is a community where people will take care of you. So if there are heritage properties, exiting them and then getting into a senior living is not a taboo kind of thing. मैं अपना घर क्यों छोड़ दूँ? Those kind of things, you'll have to come out of it. I've seen clients where their both two sons, three sons are in three different countries, and the mother is in India, and she doesn't feel that, she doesn't like to go to Australia or US, or with their kids. She wants to stay here, but she's got no one to take care of her. We've taken those tough decisions. I've advised people that sell this property, put her into a senior living. She'll have people of her age, she'll be able to talk to them. And they've taken these kind of tougher decisions, exited the properties, distributed the money between three of them, and the mother stays safe. There's medical help when she needs it. And that those are those last few years of your life. And I think I think all of you have to be practical enough to talk about these, and take those kind of decisions. Insurance is an emergency fund. Now, I've always had insurances only on the life of husband or the bread earner, whereas the wife earnings are always a part of the financial planning. When we plan for financials, women work for a longer period of time also. So when we plan for kids education, marriage, this thing, that thing, retirement and all, we've always taken double income into consideration. But the insurance is always on the man's life, it's never on the woman's life. Why? When you will talk about it, and when you will say that I am also important, I am also earning, if tomorrow I am not there, then whatever is the corpus which is for my son, which is going to be accumulated for his education, will not happen, which means I'm also important. So there needs to be an insurance on the life of the woman also, which is what a lot of people don't understand. They don't take it seriously. They say that, okay, I'm working, I have insurance. She's working, she also has insurance. That's not right. The When you're working, and the insurance which is covered by the company, apart from the appointment letter, there's no place where it's written that insurance is there. Everywhere it's only written that this much percentage or this much times of your gross pay you are covered in term insurance. You also need to have a medical insurance of your own. COVID has taught us such a big lesson. When people reached the COVID center, laptop was not there, phone was not there, the other HR was also not there in her office. From where they will give you the insurance policy number? At least one insurance policy document of your own would have been at home, your wife would have given, someone in the family would have given. But this was all somewhere in the air when people, the very first time the COVID hit, and they realized that if something like this hits, that I am isolated from the entire family and I'm somewhere there, and I need help and no one can help me. So have one insurance cover, and 5 6 7 lakhs to fracture ka cost hai. If you are really having some kind of further level of element in your body, then cost of hospitalization, 6 7 8 days of hospitalization, 10 15 lakhs gone. So please ensure 25 lakhs needs to be there as a family cover. 2 3 4 lakhs and then telling that I'm medically insured just will not work. Always keep an emergency month, 8 months of your household expenses, including your EMI, in a form of liquid asset. Mutual funds are also liquid, which means that you hit the sell button, the money hits your bank account. I'm talking about that liquid, that whichever part of the world you are, fixed deposits done in a portal, money in mutual funds, money in debt funds, whichever, hit the sell button, money hits the bank account. That is called liquid funds. Maintain a minimum balance of at least 3 lakhs in your bank account. That is necessary. Emergencies can come Saturday evening where the mutual funds will not be working, or the mutual funds will give you the money the next day. 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, at least this much float as a family people should be maintaining in their bank account. Last, keep the passwords of the aggregator portal handy. I have seen that, at least for the clients who are investing with Armstrong, okay, we have an app and all those things, but there are clients who are investing, um, who have been investing in other areas also. So for all of them, we would require that people should have their aggregator, the CAMS, Carvi, CAFE, the CAFE Fintech kind of passwords with them, so that at one glance they would be able to see all the investments which their husbands have done, or which the bread earner has done. How to deal with inheritance, very important. This is place where all this year the woman never got any importance. As soon as she gets inheritance from her parents, all of a sudden she becomes of very much importance. Everyone will talk to her nicely, everyone would give her advice on what she should do about the money. Otherwise, before that, you don't understand anything, is what the answer would always be. So this is where we talk to the woman one is to one. We tell her that allocate 50% of your money into investments that can give you a steady income. Very important. All these years no one gave you money. Now that you've got a pool of money, you need to enjoy your financial independence. You need to enjoy that there's a credit which comes to the bank account. Otherwise, people will say, kya paise ki kya zarurat hai, no? You can use it here, you can keep it there, you can keep it, you can invest it here, you can, I can tell you what to do, no? Those kind of answers come. Invest 30 to 40% in the opportunities that can appreciate and help you fulfill desires, which means that you're doing some kind of mutual fund investments or some kind of investments where you can see appreciation in that, and you use the money for taking fulfilling your desires. Every woman has desires. So there were there are desires that you want to go, you want to see the world, you want to go on a vacation. Here my experience I would share. Every year I go to a women's only kind of trip. Veena World is a service provider, and I go. And when I go to these trips, I meet up with a lot of women in this age. I met one woman. She said that When her father passed away, she got an inheritance of about 50 lakhs. And she said that, I was so happy all these years, I've never been anywhere. In the last 4 years, I have been to about eight foreign trips. So I used my money, what I have received, and I've gone for these foreign trips, and I've enjoyed life. I've made friends. I have danced. I have done ramp walk. I've bought very nice clothes which I could have never. I've bought frocks and skirts and all those things which I could have never worn if I go on a vacation with my families. She said, I've just lived. I've enjoyed. So I also tell the woman who've got inheritance that at least at the age of 60, live your life, do what gives you happiness, because all these years you've never got any kind of lump sum money to call it your own and enjoy. Make your decisions, consider hiring a financial advisor, consider talking to someone else 1:1 and take a decision rather than the family uh, taking decisions for you. And the most important, avoid paying real estates. This is what people assume, अरे उसको फादर से उतना पैसा मिला है, वो पैसा हम लोग इसमें डाल सकते हैं, उसमें डाल सकते हैं, एक और घर खरीद सकते हैं, एक और लैंड खरीद सकते हैं. Her father also sold the land, then she got the money, and because she's got a money in the real estate, let us put in another real estate. No, put your foot down, say that I will pay the tax, but my money is my money, and I will decide what I will do with this money. Preserve the principle you will require for your retirement, because many times we've seen that these kind of money in the retirement has been used for legacy planning. Now, how long should you work? My God, this is one question. The woman works initially for taking care of the family, बच्चों का नीड, बच्चों की शादी, बच्चों का ये, बच्चों का वो, फिर घर का खर्चा ये वो, and then by the time 45, 46, 47, dragging. Many times I've tried to do financial plans for women, and as soon as we talk about her working, she says नहीं यार 5-6 साल बस मैं और नहीं काम कर पाऊंगी. So you're exhausted. 50 tak, try and stretch. Anything beyond that is best, but at least till the age 50, you'll at least have friends, you'll have colleagues where you can open up, speak up. At least till that age, I want people, I want women to work. And after that, they'll be financially independent, they'll have enough of money to take care of themselves. How to plan for legacy, very important. Fixed deposits, interest will give you enough of money for your survival. Many of them also get pensions. Now it's very rare, but still some of the women who are already now 60, 65 would have been getting pensions from somewhere. And then there's a long term investment which you have to do it in the name of your grandchildren. So calculate the amount required for your survival needs. Fixed deposit interest should be able to cover that. Set along a corpus which is required for medical emergencies. Allocate the corpus intended as legally specifically to your grandchildren. Put their names already, so that, see, as soon as your daughter-in-law knows that this is the kind of money which you are going to give to her child, you'll automatically get respect. So first, only when you're alive, you start talking that how much you're going to give to whom. Then everyone will call you happy Diwali, happy New Year, happy all. So everyone will be happy. So you talk about all those things, that how much you're going to give today itself. Sell off the heritage property. This is what I've mentioned earlier also. Sell it off. The next generation will not live. गांव में नहीं जाएंगे वो लोग. Their vacations will be international vacations. Take these tougher decisions, come out of it, and distribute the funds. Money in hand is more important than money depreciating in a real estate. Divide equally between your son and daughter, both liquid as well as fixed asset. Give the son also liquid assets. Do not assume that he will take care of the property from his salary money. Draft a will, nominate your investments accordingly. Now we'll run very quickly through investment planning. I think all this time was more about awareness about financials. Many of our clients are already, many of the people out here are already our clients. uh, Very important is the base of a pyramid. The base is the fixed deposits, the fixed income, the PF, the PPF, the debt funds, the fixed deposits. They are required in life. You cannot live without them. Many of them do not have fixed deposits and debt funds, but it's okay. At least you have, sorry, at least you have that. Then you need to have, or you may be having your ULIPs and LICs, which give you a steady rate of return. Then is the mutual funds, which is a lower percentage. And then is the equity stocks, which you should do. And never do crypto and derivatives. That's why that's right. That is not investment. So what I'm trying to say in this pyramid is that if your mutual funds, you lose money, your interest in the PF and the PPF per annum is good enough to cover that. So you really don't need to worry what happens if the market crash. I've invested 30,000, 30 ka 28 ho gaya, market niche chala gaya, kya karu? No. I know for sure, as a planner also, when we are doing people's planning, we know that what is the debt equity ratio, how much money is into which investments, and how does the buffer work for them. मार्केट क्रैश हुआ तो क्या होता है ना, एवरी टाइम मार्केट क्रैशेस, मैंने तो इतना 2000 से इतना मार्केट क्रैश देखा है. बट द ओनली वे टू मेक मनी इज बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू द कैपिटल मार्केट्स. देयर इज वन सेइंग, उम्र है या मार्केट, आखिर उसको ऊपर ही जाना है. धीरे 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 करके वो ऊपर ही जाएगा. एट वॉट एवर लेवल देयर इज अ क्रैश, डजंट मैटर. You can see for yourself, 2007 crash, 2015 crash, 2020 2020 crash. After every crash, markets have gone up. So do not pull out money from the market. The only ones who pull out money from the markets are the one who lose the money. The people who stay invested in the markets, they never lose money. This is the CAGR of mutual funds. 10-year CAGR. I want all of you to just memorize these numbers: 13, 12, and 15. Flexi cap can give you 13.5% returns over a period of 10 years, large cap 12, and mid cap 15%. Now we are going to, and now we've seen a lot of women taking a lead. I'm very happy. If I would have been asked this question maybe 15 years ago when I started, that how many women take financial decisions on their own, then I would say that very few women take financial decisions on their own. The ones who take financial decisions on their own are clearly the ones which are either single, not married, or they are widowed, or they are divorced. Only those kind of people would take financial decisions on their own without asking anyone. But today things have changed. We've seen women taking lead, keeping her portfolio different from her husband's portfolio, talking to us independently. There's been a lot of rise in the woman in the financial industry. As I told you, when I started, 70:1 was the ratio. Today I see a lot of women in the asset management companies, the Birla Mutual Fund, Tata Mutual Funds, helping me take a decision. Very few fund managers are there, but still, maybe another 5 years, 6 years down the line, the numbers will change, because a lot of women are doing finance MBAs, which was again those times never women used to do MBA. Investing in knowledge, they are reading, they are listening, they are creating content, and that's where the gap is bridging. So the generation which is born, the millennial generation, the people who are born after the year 2000, are where the gender disparity which we had is now getting into a gender parity. Very important. I always, whenever I have a couple, they say कि ये खर्चा बहुत करती है. She spends a lot of money. वो जितना भी कमाती है ना, वो सब खर्चा करके वो कुछ भी invest नहीं करती. So now today it's a woman only seminar. I'm going to talk where women spend: jewelry, fashion, accessories, footwear, personal care, health, fitness. You need to look slimmer, so we all spend here. So this is what women spend. Men always complain, बहुत खर्चा करती है, कुछ भी बचाती नहीं, nothing she saves यार, everything I only save. Now, let us see where women have invested. Woman has invested in a sari to 2010. One Paithani sari was 2,500 rupees. Today, a Paithani sari is 18,000 rupees. What is the CAGR? 12.89. What was the CAGR of the mutual fund? 12, 13, 14, 15. Barabar. So, if you would have not invested in the mutual fund and you've invested in a Paithani sari का भी price ऊपर गया ना. So you have to go back and tell your husbands that my पैठनी साड़ी lasted for 15 years. मेरे शादी का साड़ी अभी भी है. ब्लाउज नहीं हो रहा, that's a different thing, but शादी का साड़ी है अभी भी. And today if I go to buy that sari, it will cost 15, 18, 20, 25. So I've done a good investment. Similarly, gold. उस वक्त गोल्ड खरीदा था, मेरी शादी में मुझे इतना मिला, ये हुआ वो हुआ, इतना लिया मैंने. प्राइस ऑफ गोल्ड वाज 20 at 2010 was 18,000. Price of gold today is 89,000. CAGR of gold is 11. So if I have invested 15 years ago into anything, today that has given you equivalent return than what of mutual funds can give. और म्यूचुअल फंड में गले में पहन के घूम नहीं सकती, साड़ी जैसा पहन के घूम नहीं सकती. So I've invested in mutual funds, or I've invested in gold, or I've invested in mutual fund. I have still been able to give you a CAGR as what your mutual fund has given. So that's the moral of the story. We are coming to the end of the webinar. So I want, by the time a couple comes to the age of 45, 50, this should be the model portfolio. Real estate should be 40% of your total assets. Debt, which is the fixed deposit kind of debt, investments, PF, fixed deposits and all, should be about 20% of your portfolio. Equities should be about 30% of the portfolio. And cash, which means that some cash here, there, some liquidity in the portfolio, should be 10%. Equities also means that the ESOPs and all other options which you will be holding, all that put together is equities, which generally people don't want to sell. नहीं यार मेरा बहुत पुराना stock है, I will not sell, और भी ऊपर जाएगा, ठीक है. And then maintain a 10% cash in the portfolio so that in case of emergency you can use. That's about it. Thanks for your patience. I think I've taken more time than required, and I'll just see if there are any questions that people have here. If there's any questions which need to be answered, or maybe people can put on, or people can type their questions. Pushpu, over to you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, on behalf of everyone here, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Manju, ma'am, for sharing her incredible journey and providing us the invaluable insight. Your wisdom, your experience, and especially your stories have truly inspired us to take control of our finances and work towards financial independence with a lot of confidence now. So, your practical advice on financial planning, wealth creation has not only empowered us, but we are even motivated to take more smarter financial decision. Also, a big thank you to all the wonderful ladies who have joined us today for taking your time out from your busy schedule and to invest in your financial growth. Your participation and enthusiasm has made this session even more meaningful. Thank you once again. Thank you all. Any questions? We are
Thank you.
ready for
I
questions.
think there are few questions asked.
Yes,
They said when can you open a PPF account? You can open even when the child is 1 year old. You can open a PPF account. PPF has 15 years of lock-in. So the earlier you begin, the better you are. But you cannot. But the PPF account is always linked to one adult, which means that if it's the father, then the father has to first open a minor account, and nowadays the Axis banks and the ICICI also help you open a PPF account. So first you have to have the father's account there or the mother's account there, then open a minor account under guardianship, and then open a PPF account. um, uh, in 1 year's time, from the time the child is born, all this is possible. I have a 11-year boy. As parents, we are 40, 45, 48 years old. We have a single investment corpus built, but not focused much on this future needs. Please suggest a plan. Yes, Shiv Kumari, today's webinar is a little more on on the overall awareness. Your is a specific question. I will talk to you one is to one, understand your plans done earlier, and then provide you a solution. What ideally should be a retirement plan be? So ideally a retirement plan, so your PF, PPF is plan B, and mutual fund investment is always plan A. So you have to start your SIPs early in life. Generally, by the time you can save a little more money is from the age 38, 39 is where you start saving a little more money, because your income levels go up, and your expenses are more stable. So at that point of time, you will more aggressively start planning for retirement. Any more questions? Thank you all. I never thought I would speak for such a long time, but I did, because I was sitting and writing what all I knew and what all cases that I've been through. And I hope it's useful, and I hope I've empowered women. I've given them the courage to speak up and fight for themselves, because financial independence and financial empowerment is what only you can do for yourself, and you have to stand for yourself, and you have to fight. Only then all these things fall in place. Otherwise you are always taken for granted. Any other questions which people have? As Khushbu has already given my uh, given the details, you can write to me or write to Khushbu. Anyone in this would like to refer their friends, their sisters and all, please feel free to get in touch with us. And we've been an organization where we've always encouraged women. Inside the organization also, we have women working in customer service, in advisory and all. It becomes easier for the other woman to speak up what she feels to a woman rather than a man. So do share our contact details to various other women who need financial guidance, and we will understand, and we are in a position to understand better and guide her better throughout the journey. With this, I'll take leave, and thank you all for participating and being patient throughout the seminar. And if there is anything you would want to know specifically, please feel free to reach to us. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.